The crazy part is that so many nurses think that these signs are just normal, so they brush them off. But that's because we were never taught what they actually mean. You gonna learn today. So if you don't know me, my name is Mel. I'm a former registered nurse. And I used to constantly go through burnout cycles in nursing. I tried all these different specialties and I ended up right back at square one, feeling misaligned, feeling burned out. So I left nursing behind back in 2021 to find the thing that I loved, to try different things. And when I say my life has completely transformed from the inside out, is an understatement. Now I help the nurse who was once where I was. So this is part 3 of the Burnout mini series that I'm doing for burned out nurses who want to figure out what's next without feeling more overwhelmed, without feeling stuck. So let's talk about the real signs that show you that you have already outgrown the nursing profession. So the first sign is that you're just not as passionate as you used to be about nursing, about your job, about the profession. When you sit down and you get really honest with yourself, you realize that that spark that you used to feel, that excitement you used to feel when you first became a nurse, that passion that you used to have, it's just not there anymore. You don't feel excited to go into work anymore. You don't feel lit up to go into work anymore. And so many nurses mistake this for them just being tired, and they write it off, they brush it off. They see all the other nurses around them who are coming in tired, complaining, all of that. But it's so much deeper than that. It's your body signaling that you are misaligned. And that's okay. And I know it's scary to admit. For me, it was extremely scary to admit. Even though I knew I didn't want to stay in nursing long term, I didn't want to retire in nursing. Admitting that to myself, it was scary. But it wasn't scarier than staying in something that was causing me to constantly hit burnout cycles, to constantly be stressed. So I want you to sit and really be honest with yourself. When you think about how you felt when you first got into nursing, the excitement, the freshness, the newness, the passion that you used to have compared to what you feel now on a daily basis, how does it compare? What do you feel now? Do you feel dread when you go into work? Do you feel anxious? I know for me, I remember sitting in my car and crying before work because I felt so anxious about the 12-hour day that I had ahead of me and just all the pressure and all the stuff that came with that role. What is your body telling you? Are you still passionate about this? So a lot of people just go through the motions and they do things on autopilot and they just go into the job, they clock in, they complain, they feel miserable at the job, they clock out, they feel the Monday scaries, or they feel dread when they think about having to go back into work the next day. And it's just this vicious cycle that continues, that people stay stuck in, that nurses stay stuck in, because they think that they have to just settle for this. But you don't have to settle for this. And the first sign to realizing that you're settling is noticing that your passion has left, your excitement has left, your joy has left. And you might still love helping people, but there's ways to help people that don't come at the expense of your own health and your own fulfillment. So there's ways to help people in a way that allows you to help yourself, in a way that allows you to feel joy, to feel fulfillment, to feel peace in what it is that you do and what you contribute. Like, you're still able to make an impact and to pour into people, to help people in a way that honors you and your truth. So the second sign is that you've tried different specialties. You've tried different units. You've tried all the things. And at first, you feel good about it. You're like, I can get used to this. And then the longer you're in that role, you realize that you're right back at square one. You're right back at feeling unfulfilled. You're right back at dreading work. You're right back at feeling burned out. This was me for so many years, because you have different nurses in your ear. I know for me, I had nurses, especially the older nurses in my ear that were doing it for a long time, who told me you'll get it. Like, you just have to find your niche. You got to find a thing that you love. So with that in mind, I was trying so many different things. I want to say I tried like 7 different specialties, or 7 to 10 different specialties or units within nursing. And when I tell you, at first the initial, oh, okay, like I can do this, was there. And then eventually flatline. Eventually it was like, okay, I don't want to do this. I have to find something else, burnout cycle. And it was just this pattern that I kept repeating over and over again. And so many nurses stay stuck in this pattern and in this cycle because they think that this is the only option, that this is the only way. There's a quote that I love, which is that you take yourself with you wherever you go. So until you stop ignoring these signs, until you honor yourself, until you realize that your body is giving you signals and trying to alert you that something needs to change, something needs to shift, until you listen to that, you heal from the burnout. Until you slow down, you won't be able to really choose something that is in alignment with who you truly are underneath all the burnout, with who you truly want to become. That's a huge reason why I do what I do, why I'm speaking out on this, why I speak about my experience, and why I bring all of this, like why I created this, why I speak so passionately about this, because I've been there, I've made it out, and I want other nurses to realize that they can do that too. You just have to give yourself permission. And I know it takes a lot to admit that, to accept that, but the signs are so loud. But a lot of times we want to ignore them, we want to brush them off, we want to not listen to them because even though the burnout comes, even though it doesn't feel good to sit in burnout and to constantly be in burnout cycles, your mind loves what's familiar. So it's going to continue to choose what's familiar over the unknown every single time. So your mind wants you to just brush off these signs because it's comfortable in the burnout. And that's the thing most nurses don't realize, most nurses never hear. That's the thing that I had to learn the hard way. And that I really want you, if you don't take away anything else from this video, I really want you to take that key thing away and realize that there's nothing wrong with you for wanting more. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling this misalignment or for constantly going in and out of burnout cycles. There's nothing wrong with you for being afraid to admit this. But even if it's hurting you, even if it's uncomfortable to be where you are right now, what you're not changing, you are choosing. So you're allowing it to continue. And that's the hard truth that a lot of nurses don't want to admit to themselves. That's a hard pill to swallow. This is not a time to blame yourself. When I say what you're not changing, you're choosing, it just gives you, it puts the power back in your hands. It puts the ball back in your court because at the end of the day, we have the ultimate power and authority to make decisions for ourselves, to make decisions that are best for us, are best for our health, are best for our mental, our physical health. So now that you know and you're aware, you can use that to intentionally choose something else. And that's where the magic happens. That's where the healing begins. That's where the fun begins. That's where you really start to rediscover who you are underneath the burnout, underneath all the stress and anxiety, and you get to rewrite your story. And that part is so fun. It's so priceless. Not saying that scariness doesn't come with that, but when you feel the fear and you move anyway, and you start to blossom into this confident version of yourself who confidently chooses herself, who confidently owns her choice to walk away from nursing, to try something new. That's when you truly start to begin living life on your own terms. And it's just such a beautiful experience. So the next sign is that the thought of leaving nursing keeps coming back. It keeps coming up. No matter how much you try to silence it, no matter how much you try to brush it off, no matter how much you try to ignore it, it keeps coming up. Maybe it waits a week, maybe it waits a couple months, maybe it waits a few months, but it keeps coming back. That is a clear signal that something needs to change. That is your higher self. That is your intuition guiding you, giving you signals, trying to get your attention that it's time for something else. You silence it out of fear of making the wrong decision, out of fear of wasting your time, energy, effort, and degrees that you put into becoming a nurse, out of fear that other people won't understand your decision, out of fear that you'll make the wrong decision and regret it, out of feeling this feeling of being stuck and not knowing what to do next. There's so many different layers of this journey. Nurses get stuck in this part because it's like, okay, I'm praised for being a nurse. But at the same time, the same thing that you're being praised for is the same thing that's silently breaking you down. It's the same thing that's causing you to silently suffer. So this becomes conflicting and confusing in your head, and you just like, you suffer in silence. You hold it all in on your own. That doesn't do anything but reinforce the belief that you don't deserve to listen to your intuition, that you don't deserve to choose something that truly fulfills you in all ways. Ooh, oh, I'm hungry if you hear my stomach. So you probably tell yourself you should be grateful. You make good money, you're respected, you have a respectable career. Well, even though now they're saying that nursing isn't a profession, which is crazy. But at the end of the day, it's really about you and how you feel, and about honoring your truest feelings, your truest needs, your truest desires, and not silencing that. And the sooner you learn to follow your curiosity, the sooner you can get to your next chapter, the sooner you can start feeling like yourself again, the sooner you can really allow yourself to slow down and rediscover who you truly are underneath all the burnout outside of your nurse identity. So I want to give you a bonus sign, which is when you have glimpses or small moments of rest where you get to just rest, you get to just be, and that feels like a relief. But the thought of going back into work drains you. It makes you feel dread. That's a clear signal, and that's your body telling you the real truth. Underneath you trying to hide, you trying to brush it under the rug, it's your body like, listen, this is what it is. This is what we need. And it's literally crying out for you to listen to it. So the question is, will you listen? These signs don't show up to scare you. They don't show up to shame you. They show up to guide you into what's next. They show up to give you clear signals that it's time for what's next. It's time for something else. So even if just one of these hit you, that's a sign that you have to pay attention to. You have to honor it. You have to start listening to what your body's telling you, to what's really going on underneath all of the burnout, underneath all of the overwhelm, all of the stress, the anxiety. So no, you're not confused, but you are waking up. This is the beginning of your new chapter. This is the beginning of you finally choosing yourself. And this is the beginning of some of the best years of your life. And that's such a beautiful journey. So don't try to silence it. Don't try to push it down. Don't try to force yourself to stay in something that you've clearly outgrown. So if you're resonating with this and you like, oh my gosh, I feel one of these signs, if not all of these signs, make sure you like this video so that we can get this out to more burnt out nurses who need this information. They can realize that they're not alone and they can be supported along their journey as well. But if you want even deeper clarity, sign up for my free masterclass. It's called Should I Stay or Should I Go? Where you'll learn how to use your intuition for you to really see if it's time for you to finally leave nursing. And I guide you through this process in less than 35 minutes. But if you're at the point where you know you want to leave nursing, but you feel stuck because you don't know what to do next, my Nursing New Chapter AI Bestie gives you personalized options on what's next for you outside of nursing. The link for that is in the description below. So make sure you subscribe so that you're here for part 4, because we got here to this point. So now it's like, okay, what's next? So in part 4, I'm gonna help you figure out what to do from here. This part is super important because so many nurses stay stuck at the clarity level and they allow fear to keep them where they are. So make sure you're here for part 4. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week. And let me know down below which one of these, or if all of these resonated with you. And just share your experience. I read all my comments. I look forward to talking to you. See you next time. Bye.